Hello and welcome to Animated Wonders, an Explosion Network podcast where we celebrate animation in all of its forms. This is Animated Wonders. In this season, we'll be discussing all the films in the Toy Story franchise. Hello, my name's Blight. Joining me to discuss today's Animated Wonder is Ashley Hobley.
Hey Dylan, excited to be here because you've got a friend in me.
I do indeed.
A song there's not in this film.
No, it's actually weird. We should go back. Is it in every other film apart from this one? Is that a...
It might not be in 4.
Might not be in 4. I'd have to double check, but I can't remember. I'd have to check.
Okay.
But yes, that is interesting. We are here today to talk about Toy Story 5, released 2026, released a day ago as of recording. Directed by Andrew Stanton, written by Andrew Stanton and Keena Harris, story by Andrew Stanton. Comes from, of course, Pixar and Disney. Main cast: Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joanne Cusack, Conan O'Brien, Scarlett Spears, Greta Lee, Shelba Ribara, Michaela Michelle Harris, and Craig Robinson. Synopsis: Woody, Buzz, and Jesse and the rest of the gang's jobs are challenged when they're introduced to electronics, a new threat to playtime. Ash, we did a rewatch over the last month or so of the previous 4 Toy Story films in the lead up to this one. And then we've both just watched this one. Well, I'm fresh out of it. You watched it a day ago. But what are your thoughts on Toy Story 5?
I thought it was good. I don't think it's the best one. That's for certain. I think I don't know exactly what. It just didn't quite nail everything. I think it has a lot of ideas and doesn't fully delve into them completely. Like, obviously, the big thing, tech and kids is introduced, but I don't feel like they've not there that there actually is one, but like there was no real answer for that. And I feel like I feel like there was a bit of a disconnect in it a little bit. Obviously, it was great to have Jesse as the focal point, so much so that you were kind of, at points you were thinking, did Woody and Buzz really be in this movie and stuff like that? Is that the potential for this franchise, that we could like maybe focus on other toys? Does it have to be that pairing every single time? Could we see other toys kind of explored and that kind of stuff if they are keen to keep making these kind of movies? But yeah, I mean, it did have the emotional moments you would expect from these movies. Again, I feel like, maybe this is one of those ones more for the adults than for the actual kids, so, or I feel like the adults get more out of it knowing, because there's elements that are touched on that only adults would understand. So yeah, those are my initial thoughts.
I really liked it, but yeah, I would agree that I don't think it's as strong as the other ones. I didn't have the same emotional response, but I'm on the odd side where, of course, I've talked about Toy Story 4 being my favorite, and that's the one that resonated the most to me. But my thing with this one, we could put a pin in the tech discussion, because that's, of course, the main topic that this film's tackling. But I do think, like, where Toy Story 4 was the one that emotionally hit me the hardest, and I spoke about that one when we talked about it and the reasons as to why I believe that one hit me the hardest. I do think that this one, if you're thinking about adults, I think this film has the potential to emotionally hit harder for parents. Like, if you actually have kids, I could see this being something that is a bigger deal for you. I mean, the first 2 Toy Story movies are sort of aimed a bit more, like, there is that thing where adults can get it. It's like, but if you're watching the first 2, your emotional tie to that one as an adult is more reminiscing about your own childhood, whereas if you're a kid watching it like we were when they came out, it's like more of the childhood adventure. And then 3, 4, 5, you got a bit more of a more adult centric message, I guess, or it's like less kids. Not to say, I still think this is a fun kids movie, but
Yeah.
I mean, the main takeaway is, or the main group of people I think that would get the most out of this, or potentially be the ones, like if you're going to picture someone who this film hits the hardest and they're the ones sitting in the cinema with a tear running down their eye, I'm going to assume it's someone who's actually got kids, and that's who's probably going to potentially hit the hardest.
Yes. Yeah, I think so. Getting further into it, like the moment they got me, I think is like the emotional high point of the movie is when Jesse finds the box that Emily's daughter had kept all the stacks, and she learns that Emily named her daughter Jessie. You know, for some reason that moment just kind of got me teary-eyed and that kind of stuff, because you know, it's I feel like this movie like touches on the non-permanence, like the limited time that certain relationships have and that kind of stuff. Like some friends you're going to have and aren't going to be there forever, but you know, they have this like important impact in that one period of your life or whatever. So I feel like that was something I was hit on a lot. And I feel like I've said a lot during this series that I feel like the toys are like kind of de facto parent figures for the kids, because they're constantly trying to do what's best for them. And like obviously in this film, like they've spent the entire summer trying to help Bonnie make a friend, you know, and that kind of stuff. So but yeah, I mean, it could hit differently for kids, because I think it's interesting, because I knew there would, like, I saw like messaging like, there's one of the most heartbreaking scenes that you've ever seen in a Toy Story movie in this film. We're like waiting for it. And it's like the scene that I went back and checked what it was, and Tom Hanks is like talking about the bullying scene where the kids like calling her names over the group chat or whatever. It's like, okay, that's pretty standard for me as an adult, but I guess maybe as a kid, that's like pretty devastating watching another kid.
Well, but that's what I mean. Like, I thought that was sad, but I do think if that scene potentially would hit harder for parents, especially if you're a parent who's had that happen to your child, or you think that your child has gone through online bullying.
You're seeing the signs,
because like we're watching it going, obviously, children getting bullied online, which is a more prevalent thing in our society.
We're just sitting here go, hit that block button, baby.
Yeah. But like that, I do think if you're a parent watching that, having had your child go through that or some form of online bullying, I could see how that potentially could be one of the more devastating scenes, or like really hit close to home, I guess. But I mean, that's the thing with the Toy Story series in whole. I think it's like what you get, what scenes are going to hit the most is sort of based on where you are in your life at the time. I would agree though, but before we move on to the tech stuff or whatever, I would agree, oddly enough, that scene you were talking about before, the one where Jesse brings out the lunchbox, I got the exact same thoughts out of it about like how you can have people in your you can have people in your life who affect you, who may only be in it for a couple of years or a short period or what have you. Weirdly, the oddest thing, it reminded me of my when it came, I had this brief recollection of my childhood friend. I only knew him for 2 years in kinder and prep, and then he left, this friend I had, and he moved to the US. I can still remember his name. His name was Michael. And then when he moved there, shout out to Michael. When he moved there, he sent, well, I guess his parents, he didn't send them because he was a fucking child, right? But when he moved there, his parents sent my parents a bunch of I swear I've told this story before at some point across the 10 years we've been recording. But when he moved there, his parents sent to my parents like a little gift box or what have you. Had some games in there, PS1 games, including like Disney's Hercules and shit like that. Couldn't play fucking any of them because they were all
region coded.
They're all region locked. So, but yeah, it's weird. I always remember I think this is the same. No, I've definitely told this story. This is the same kid who I've told before, who in the playground, we used to play Crash Bandicoot, where he would swing around he'd pretend to be swinging around the stick of Oompa Oompa or whatever the fucking Aku Aku, whatever, the first boss in that. And I used to jump over his stick and we would like recreate the boss battle in the school playground in kinder or prep, however old we would have been there. So yeah, weirdly, that lunchbox scene, Michael, that's how I was thinking of.
Yeah,
there you go.
Kids are probably not going to get that same reaction.
No, kids aren't going to get the same reaction, but that's why there's stuff in these movies that are good for us adults. All right, the tech stuff. Let's get into that because that's obviously it's been the marketing point, and it's been we've known since the trailers that tech was it's the toys versus tech, and what was that going to look like?
Yeah,
I don't think it was quite funny to me because I'm like going into the movie, I'm like, oh, I wonder how much they'll tease around the anti. Like how hard are they going to go on the anti-tech stance? And it's like 15 minutes into the movie before Jesse's on top of a rooftop looking all around the neighborhood and seeing all these, not just kids, but kids, adults, teenagers, everyone locked onto screens somewhere. So the movie goes pretty hard on, I would say, you can tell me what you think in a sec, but I would say I took away that tech isn't necessarily bad. It's here. It can be used for good or whatever in some senses, but it definitely seems to have the the angle that it needs to be used in commodity.
It needs to be a balanced element of your life rather than your entire life.
Like even Bonnie if
from morning till night on it.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone who's addicted to it day to night, bad. You see that, but then the movie, by the end of it, at the big saving grace, at the end of the day, tech was needed, quote unquote, was needed to get those two kids to meet. But then they moved away from the tech and connected as actual human beings instead of just on the text bubbles and stuff like that. What do you get out of the text?
No,
story?
I feel like maybe it was a little bit, on the no, like a little. It was not subtle with its like anger. I mean, there is a literal line where Jesse goes, "It's all your fault that she's growing up too fast." You're the one who ruined Bonnie for me or whatever. So, very make it very clear. But then I feel like it was resolved very easily because Lilypad just had a sudden change of heart, and that was it. If it wasn't for that one moment, then who knows what happens? I guess.
I mean, I think the thing is, it's at the end of the day, it's a Disney Pixar movie that's trying to do its angle on these tech, the modern day tech dilemma story in a way that's kid friendly. But the reality is, there are news stories and stuff happening all the time where you're reading about kids. I mean, not to go super dark, but fuck it.
Yeah,
you can read. Kids are committing suicide because they're bullied online. Kids are taking up and trying to do ridiculous things because they're trying to match beauty standards that they see online by influencers and stuff. Male men or boys being driven down the manosphere, whatever else. Like the list goes on. So like there is a complete like how do you tackle all that? Which is the reality that we live in a Disney Pixar movie. You can't. However, this is the G version of it.
I mean, I guess the ultimate message being that Bonnie is better with a in-person friend than a bunch of girls she's just talking to and playing games with online is, hopefully a strong enough incentive to get people to foster their own in-person relationships, rather than purely being online, which is ironic for us to say. When we are talking thousands of kilometers away from each other.
This is the thing. I say semi often, I like, I like tech. I have lots of techie things. I enjoy all this tech stuff. Tech's very relevant for what we do and is a necessity.
Yeah.
I do stand by that as a human race, we are too fucking connected to screens at some point.
Yeah.
From children to adults, you know? So
Yeah.
I can get behind the message as much as, yes, I use a lot of tech stuff and you and I sit here several times a week talking to each other through a screen. However, I leave the fucking screen and go do other stuff. If I only sat in this room day in out, which is a reality, let's be real, you know, then it would be bad. So I'm not saying I don't think the movie's message was that tech is bad and we should delete it all and throw it out the window.
No, because then Jessie learns a lesson, like that tech is able to help her with what she wants to, with helping Bonnie. You know, so yeah, it's a tool.
Yes. So. Yes, it's also it's just not a very easy conversational topic to reach a blanket. This is how we fix the world.
Yeah.
Statement on. I mean, tech, similar to AI in general, it's like the genie's out of the bottle. How do we live with it? You know?
Yep. Which, side note, one of my silly, funny jokes that I really appreciated was like when Lilypad is telling Jessie that she's been listening the entire time and recants all the things she said and then translates it to I don't know, Portuguese or something, and she puts it to a rap. I think it's one of the other toys says in the background, "I don't know how I feel about this ethically," because clearly it's using some sort of AI to like turn it into a rap.
Yeah, which is one of the most popular TikTok trend things at the moment.
Yeah,
which was what that reminded me of. There's all these they're quite funny, so I can't even blame them. But it's like people keep grabbing these people grab these text message conversations that they have with their family or friends or whatever. Have you seen these ones?
You get people singing.
Some AI app like turns them into a song or a bit. So, all right. My funny side note to all this tech stuff.
Sure.
And you know, I love speaking about how much I think media literacy is dying or something. There was a fucking guy sitting, a row and a side across from where I was sitting.
Yeah.
We're sitting here watching a movie. Now, he's on his phone the entire movie, which is already going to bother me. Yeah. So he's already in my bad books. But then we're watching a movie. He's here watching a fucking movie where the general story or general message, and it's not even like a deep message, like, man, you really need to go home and think to get to the moral of this movie's message. Yeah. It's like the most surface level shit ever, where it's about what we're talking about. Motherfuckers sitting there Snapchatting the entire movie, just just sitting there the whole time, and I'm going, you're sitting here watching a movie that's, end of the day, the message is sort of like, hey, maybe we need to get off our phones and like connect with one another a bit more. No, I'm just going to sit here on Snapchat the whole time. I'm like, you are just the daftest cunt I've seen in the last 24 hours.
Was he by himself or was he with other people?
He was with one friend, I think. Okay. I couldn't see what the fuck he was doing. But it is also that point where I'm like, you pay $22 or whatever.
Yeah.
To sit in the cinema on your phone and Snapchat. Yeah. And watch a movie that's telling you to get off your phone, which is even funnier.
Some people
had a fair amount of kids at my screening actually as well. That was good. Did you have many of yours?
I went to an 8:30 screening at night. There were 6 other people in the cinema.
Holy fuck! I think mine was like at least half full.
No.
It was a Friday night screening though, so
Friday night. They're allowed to stay up later, kids.
It's true.
Right? I don't know.
I think so. I don't know how it works anymore. Yeah. Let's talk about the animation quality on this one. Obviously, we've just done a re-watch along the way and we got to track the growing
Yep.
quality of Pixar animation across the four and now the fifth film. There are some big jumping points, and I think we discussed those. I would say that there's not as big between 4 and 5 here. I think 4 and 5 look pretty similar. There are some really nice looking scenes in this. I think there's some you've got high detail, like there's several close-ups you can see where there's like high detail to the cross stitching and stuff in the toys. There's some really nice there's like that one shot of Jesse sitting against the tree in the background there, just like, I don't know, nice general cinematography or general stuff like that. What do you think of the animation in this one?
I mean, I think it was still very good, like very high level. I think you can always tell by certain character models they attempt, like how far along they think they've got. And I think the character of I don't think they try and make the character of Blaze, who has like really dark curly hair. They don't try and do that back in when they're making 1 or 2, because it would look terrible. But now that they're so advanced with the computer animation, like they can pull it off, all that design and everything. So
this is a series that struggled to animate a horse, a dog in the first film, and now we're animating pigs and horses all in one film.
Yeah, like lots of animals. Side note, do you remember what the name of the pig was?
Jeffrey Daniels.
I'm pretty sure it's Jimmy Dean, right?
Jimmy Dean. There we go. Do
you know what Jimmy Dean is? Because there's a moment where Jesse goes, "Oh, poor thing," something like that.
Is singer?
No, Jimmy Dean is a brand of pork sausages.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that makes sense. That's why she says poor thing. Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I'm like, I don't get this reference.
I don't get this reference. Yeah,
I'll have to work it out later. Yeah.
So, I did really love the like we saw it in the trailer, but like the animation style of like when Bonnie is playing and like her imaginated scenes, whether it's the weddings.
Yeah, where they're like I don't know
how to describe it. Like
crayon
pastel,
drawn?
watercolor, not really crayon.
Yeah, I think
it's definitely got a very much a pop of color to it. So that makes it stand out from everything else, and obviously is a simple tool to make you understand this is the fictional world and that kind of stuff, or the imagined world of children. But I think it was like a really cool device, and switched up the film a little bit visually. So those were really cool sequences.
I agree. Sort of looping back to what you were saying before about characters we may or may not needed. So going into it, we knew that Jesse was sort of going to be the lead character, but then, obviously when you see the trailer and there's still got Woody and Buzz and all this sort of stuff, you're like, how much are they going to be including in this? And how much are other characters, including Toy Story 4 introduction, Forky, and the other toys that we met from the last film, like the dinosaur and the whatever else.
Yep.
How much are they going to be put into this? I would say we didn't need Woody, full stop. I don't even think it's a question mark. I just think straight up. But then my question, my main thing is for this. Could they not rely on doing the movie just without Woody and... Well, I can understand Buzz still being there because...
He's in the bedroom. Yeah.
He's in the bedroom. It makes sense. But you're bringing Woody back after giving him a send-off.
Yeah.
He got his curtain call. Mm-hmm. Really. He already had it.
Well, unless you wanted to do the movie around him,
But it's not.
So
it's not necessary. So then my thing is, do they bring him back so they can make sure they have Woody and Buzz on the poster?
Yes.
Yeah. And do they think that is it that Disney's marketing or whoever's making it, Bob Iger before he retired for the second time, is it that they don't think Toy Story will sell without Woody and Buzz?
Yes.
Full stop.
Well, maybe it wouldn't sell. Maybe it would still sell, but you would have a ton of internet stuff you'd have to deal with that just isn't worth it when you can just shoehorn Woody into the film.
Yeah, well, this is my second point. Because I think it can be either and or a combination of these factors, but is it they don't think the film can be sold without Woody and Buzz on the poster, or is it that they don't think they can just do the movie solely with Jessie because then you'll rile up all the fuckboys online because the film will be starring her and only including a female as the lead?
I think it's definitely number 2.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Although, to be fair, I feel like they did a solid job of giving a reason for Woody to come back, or like to get him fitting in the plot. It's not like
he accidentally heard on the radio that she was calling for him.
Misheard the word backup, and then that's it. You know? Although if it had just been she's calling Woody because she needs advice and that kind of stuff, and it had have just ended there, I think
that would have been fine. My thing is, if they just done the radio call cameo, what's Woody up to? Everyone, give you a little insight to Woody and Bo Peep's world. That's sort of fun. Because I think the other thing that annoys me the most is we get Woody back, but I get no fucking Bo Peep.
You get a tiny bit of Bo Peep, and she gets like 2 lines.
She has like 2 lines. She has 2 lines after becoming such a more interesting, prominent character in Toy Story 4. They're sort of
2 lines might be a little bit low. Like, you know, there's 4 scenes maybe in the entire movie. Yeah.
So that was a little bit positive, but I think you could have just got rid of him.
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't mind it, but I knew how the movie went. That was a question that was going to be raised. You know, fair enough, because it was so Jessie centric. You know, but yeah, I mean, and also the absence of all the original toys that there was barely any of Mr. Potato, barely any of Rex, or you know, all that Ham and Slinky Dog and all them. You know, in a box for most of this movie. Even the new toys from Bonnie's room, mostly not there, except for when Bonnie's playing with them. So, but yeah, I mean, we did get introduced to some interesting new toys. So, I guess you can't have the cast is not too big. I mean, Smarty Pants, like incredible. Are there actually toys like that in real life that help the kids?
I have no idea, but I would assume that's a real thing. Surely.
I would assume so.
If they've got it in the film,
is there a toy that helps a kid go to the bathroom that also connects to a photo camera and then also connects up to a map thing? I'll tell you what, for a good 30-40 minutes, I did not know what that hippo-looking thing was.
Your GPS.
What's a kid do to GPS for?
Find home.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Also, I didn't think they were designed to be connected. It was just simply that they could be. They could be because they were plugging in the cord and then they're just making themselves work with one another. Yeah.
But then the toy is connected to the Wi-Fi.
I don't know why the Wi-Fi pooping toy needs to connect to the Wi-Fi, but
and send emails, yeah, send messages
or send emails, yeah.
Why am I messaging from my toy?
What's the design point there?
That while the doesn't have a keyboard.
Yeah. While the kid's struggling to take a poo, it can say, "Hey, send an email to mum. Help."
I did enjoy the joke that the little poop game that he's got built in was so addictive that Jessie was just smashing,
going ham, smashing, literally.
Yeah. Then also in Blazer's dream play session where she gets Smarty Pants in and he's got the Conan hair because obviously it's Conan voicing it, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, good stuff there.
All right, let's pick our wondrous.
We need to touch on the final B plot for this entire movie.
What is the B plot?
The movie opens with a fucking bunch of Buzz Lightyears that have been washed up onto an island.
This is A plot.
teapot. This was it's not actually Jesse's stories. It was all the Buzz's stories, is what you're saying?
Well, my thing for this is they just wanted a bunch of Buzz Lightyears in the movie.
I mean, that was always, like I think I mentioned before, like almost every single iteration of a sequel to Toy Story featured a bunch of Buzz Lightyears.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the movie that actually fulfilled that fantasy. I was just, every time that would show up, I'm like, how is this going to fit within the main plot?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I guess they found a way, but it just felt it felt like pulling you out of the story every single time because it was going to a very different movie each time.
They needed them to escape on their drone propellers.
Yes.
That is the only reason they're in the movie.
And if those drone propelled Buzz Lightyears are not on shelves by the end of next week, I'm going to be very upset. You know?
I'll be very shocked.
How is Disney not putting those toys out as soon as humanly possible?
Similar to C-3PO's red arm, those Lightyears are made to sell toys.
Yeah.
I would say, like, as much as they were like sort of weirdly every time the film cut away and it was like, what are we doing here? That one scene where they chase after the Buzz that was stolen at the campsite, and then they go in and see the girl hugging that Buzz so tightly while they're reading a book, a physical book,
being outdoors,
being out fucking doors, reading a physical book. Fucking good on them. That was good. I enjoyed that. That was a good little moment, I'd say, amongst all that. But yes, it was weird that we kept cutting. All right, wondrous elements for Toy Story 5. Pick the 2 elements of the film that stood out the most to you: animation, visual style, music and sound design, voice performances, world building, and emotional impact. Bloody hell, my batteries are dying.
Yeah. I guess it would be animation, visual style, because of how beautiful it looks, the change up in styles with those play sequences, and then I'll go voice performances, because I think across the board, really good. No phonied in, 5 movies in. I think even I think Bonnie is an interesting character just because, I think interestingly she is a very disliked character because in the community that I've seen, because in the 3rd movie she steals Woody away from Andy, and then in the 4th movie she doesn't care about any of these toys, and in this movie she's like, I don't even want Jesse and Bullseye. You don't want Jesse and Bullseye? These 2 toys have been loving care of you. They have run across the country, like the town for you. Yeah.
Let's be real. It's not that she doesn't want Jesse and Bullseye. It's that the social standards pressured by her online bitchy new friends.
Yes. Also, why is this lily pad just choosing who she's going to be friends with?
Yeah.
Just
So that's what you get for trusting a frog.
What is this thing listening in and making choices, and but yeah, I think across the board, pretty great vocal performances. So lots of fun.
I'm gonna go emotional impact, even though it didn't hit hard for me because I don't think I'm the fully correct audience. But I do think it's super relevant and will hit for the right audience. So based on that, I'm going to pick emotional impact, and then I'm going to go animation and visual style because the film is beautiful. It's very well animated. Nothing shocking given the obviously studio and caliber and all that sort of stuff. Nonetheless, it still looks very pretty. So, what was your favorite scene, sequence, character, or moment?
I mean, it's hard to go past her at the tree, the swing and that, so that's pretty great. I think even just the opening of recreating, near the opening where Jesse is remembering being with Emily the first time, I think recapturing that, I think it being animated how we remember that being animated rather than how it actually was animated. I think that was really good. Yeah, I mean, those are probably the standout moments.
I'm going to go with the car text thing because like I took it as like, it didn't hit me super hard again because I'm not a parent or anything.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's like probably quite
Fucking kids.
realistically dark for a Disney Pixar film. Like, everyone talks about how Toy Story 3 is so dark with the toys nearly dying and everything. But at the end of the day, I'm like, the toys.
Kids are the toys. This is something that actually hit
like,
the kid.
Yeah, like I get it because it's we don't view them as toys, we view them as characters, and they nearly died. So that I get why it's a big emotional moment, the one that most people talk about as being so dark. But I think there's something awfully dark about seeing such a current societal problem portrayed that way, and they didn't really beat around with the way they did it. I thought it was actually quite. It might be confronting for some people, I think. So, yeah.
Yes. Also, all of them coming in on the different horses from Blazer's room.
Oh, that was very funny. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Woody gets stuck with the fucking tiny ass play horse. I'm not going to talk about its place in animation history. We're going to be doing one more episode in our Toy Story series to follow this one up with, where we will be going over our final ranking of all 5 of the films and final thoughts and stuff like that. So you can look forward to listening to that one next week after this drops. Any final thoughts on Toy Story 5 though?
The Taylor Swift song was fine. It wasn't, I was surprised that I thought that the song would be somewhere in the movie, but for it to just be an end credit thing, kind of disappointed in its placement.
That's typical though, isn't it? I was reading someone complain about this the other day, where it's like, all these big. Weren't we talking about it? This whole
we talked about how they're going to change the rules for the Oscars, where it needs
for the
to be
Oscars thing,
starting at least like 30 seconds into the end, before the end of the credit.
Yeah, but this is my point. It's just done as a promotional thing. It's like Taylor Swift. They when did that song drop? Like 2-3 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's like they dropped the Taylor Swift song 2-3 weeks ago. It's free promotion for Toy Story 5 because then everyone's talking about her new song, and that's for Toy Story 5. So that's promotion for the movie. It doesn't fucking matter where it falls in the movie at that point.
Yep.
They just need to put it somewhere, so they just throw it into the credits. Boom! It's part of the movie. Done.
In this world, what has sentience and what doesn't have sentience?
I think everything has sentience.
Lilypad has sentience. Yeah. The laptops that they seem to constantly have around, which look really cool to be within the movie. They don't seem eyes. To be,
No, well, I mean, hold on. This is a can of worms we're not going back into because we'll be here forever. But I'm pretty sure this is part of Toy Story 4, obviously with Forky.
Oh, okay. If they believe it's a toy that can
if they believe it's a toy, then it's a toy. So if she believes that Lilypad's a toy, it's a toy, but they don't believe a laptop's a toy, so it's not a toy. A laptop's a tool, I think is the definition. Now, if you want to, my last thing I just remembered, this movie, I think, is the first one I've seen where they've sort of explained why or how the toys always just drop dead whenever humans show up. And apparently, based on what I see in this one, it's a reflex. They don't do it by choice. They just drop. When all those Buzz Lightyears just dropped in front of those dudes, and we're like, oh, weird. We should ignore humans. I didn't mean to do that. I was like, oh, it's a reflex. They're not choosing to
I think we always did. Yeah. We kind of assumed they had some sort of control, but also then we saw in the first movie Woody could overcome that and yell at Sid. So, so I guess there is an element of control. It's just maybe natural instinct straight away that they drop because that was the first time they were encountering a person. All those buzzers, which are somehow high tech connected to each other.
Apparently.
That's the thing. Also, that leads into one of my other favorite jokes. Obviously, when they were all at the, after they've done washboarding, Woody in Jimmy Dean's mouth, waterboarding. I mean, Al Buzz says, "By the way, Zurg is our father," and all of them go, "No," just like they do, just like he did in the first time. And then at the end, in that little mid-credit scene, someone
Mid-credit
pulls out
scene.
Zerg. Yes. I am your father. Yeah.
No.
No. No. Yeah. But also committing to... I don't know if that was like a pointed line. Zerg is my father, not a future version of me from several centuries. Who
Yeah.
jumped forward in time several centuries, you know. I guess in hindsight, that's just easier.
They're just like light year, whatever.
Mm.
That's not a real thing. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Animated Wonders. Let us know what you thought of the film on social media at explosionnetwork.com/follow. If you enjoyed the show, you can find more podcasts, reviews, and pop culture coverage over at explosionnetwork.com. And if you'd like to support the podcast and Explosion Network, head on over to explosionnetwork.com/support. Until the next episode, remember that animation is cinema.